Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Stealth Trader pre-market analysis and trade plan setup for Friday, September the 19th, 2014. TGIF to everybody. Hope everybody's going to have a good weekend. Remember, today is Quad Witching Day. I am going to be looking into the open interest today after the session. I didn't get a chance to do it. Actually, it slipped my mind this morning that it was quad witching, but we'll take a look at that. I'll post that into the room. My name is Doug McKay. I'm the moderator of this chat room. If you're interested in checking it out, you can send me a Skype request to Doug_McKay. I'll be the one from Windsor, Ontario. Of course, you can send me an email to my email address at d.mckay@stealthtrader.com. Want to let everybody know that we are going live with the stealth alerts as of Monday next week. We've been in beta testing the last 2 weeks. The alerts are generating very nicely. The test ones that we've run on a single contract on the number of alerts are up almost $2,000 since the start of the alert service. So make sure you go to stealthtrader.com and go to the Stealth Alerts sign up section and get your 30-day free trial. We're going to get going in just a minute. Before I do anything, I've got to get the disclaimer out of the way, so let me do that. This information is for the purpose of educating members who want to expand the knowledge in business and trading. It is not for trading or investment advice. You and only you are responsible for the trades or investment decisions made. Trading futures or any instrument involves risk of loss. Please consider carefully whether futures or options are appropriate to financial situation. Only risk capital should be used. When trading futures or options, investors can lose more than initial investment. UMBI Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results. And so let's just, a couple things. I mean, first of all, we've got Alibaba with their IPO this morning. It's going to be the big news. It'll be all the talk. And should give us a bit of a rally. It's going to open up. It's probably going to run up. The IPO came out at $68. It's likely going to go to $100 today. So keep an eye on that stock. But I think that's going to lift the market and create some excitement. Let's just get the news out of the way. We already had Canadian CPI and wholesale sales and core CPI. The only other news we've got today, scheduled is the CB leading index at 10 a.m. Eastern time. But just remember that we've got headline risks that could be coming out. We've got day one of the G20 meetings, so just keep an eye on that. Scotland lost their vote last night, so there's no independence in Scotland. So if you're looking at trading the British pound, you might take a look at that. But in terms of what we do, I concentrate on the three markets, ES, gold, and the Russell. So basically, let's just take a look at yesterday, because yesterday our key level that we were trading off of was that 98.25. And, as we opened up, as we came down here, and the very first tap on that 68.25, I put an alert out to get long off of 68. It did rotate back against it, but it only went down to 97.25. And hey, if you got long at 98.50, 5 ticks of heat, 98.75, 6 ticks of heat, anywhere up to 8 ticks of heat on that long was a beautiful trade. You could have stayed in that trade all day long. Our main target above range was up here at 2005. It was 2005.50. I don't know how it got moved down. You can go check the chart that was posted yesterday or check the video from yesterday. But our main target was 2005.50, and we went up and hit it to the tick before we closed. Now, I've been talking about the 2011 and it getting equalized out. We did go and take it out overnight, and we made a new all-time high at 2014. So right now, we're going to open up in around that 2010, 2011. So a couple things. One, with the Alibaba IPO, I think you've got a strong case for a possible initiative buyers stepping in here and giving us an open drive. You don't want to fade this open today. I think it's very dangerous, especially now that we have a new all-time high at 2014.50. So before we get into this, I wanted to start my normal routine and never forget to go through the macro to the micro. Here's the monthly, new all-time high in the monthly, 2014.50. Great slope, great separation, trading above last month's high. The trend is very much intact. Going over to the weekly, same thing. We came down, closed that technical gap, bounced off the 9 EMA and off to the races and trading above last week's high. Going to the daily, we had the rollover gap and the delta gap down here, created this technical gap, rallied back up and closed the gap, got above the 9 and the 20, and we're going up and making all-time new highs right now. A little bit of a technical gap here we want to pay attention to, likely going to get, we've got an MA squeeze or MA hug going on right now, likely to come out with a naked cross there, and this naked cross is going to be at yesterday's low at 1997.25. Going over to the geometric chart, as I said yesterday, I got rid of the downward opposing fork. They really don't want to give us any downward sloping forks right now. So, to me, it's all about coming up and testing this upper line of the intermediate upward sloping fork if we hold inside of the longer term upward sloping fork. So you can see that the lower line of the longer term upward sloping fork is at 1998.25. I'd keep that and write that in your journal for sure. And then, if we do get some weakness, look for a move down to test that. And that would pretty much bring us down to close that naked cross that's developing on the daily. More importantly, it's going to go down and test yesterday's range low. The high today, the extended target to the upside and the new measured move is up here at 2032.50. And that is the upper line of the intermediate upward sloping fork. That's all that this is really going to give us today in terms of geometric and the clues that it gives us. Let's take a look at the trends in the intraday going into the RTH session here. You can see on the 4-hour, we went down and we closed that technical gap. I know we missed it by a couple, ticks. But to me, that's close enough move to close out a naked cross. Then we've got a very powerful, trend going on the 4-hour. Do have a bit of a technical gap with the Mr. Sneaky, so we could come down to close this technical gap, and that technical gap is going to bring us down in that 2005.50 area, and that is right at the range high from yesterday. So, if we don't get the open drive today with initiative buyers and we do get two-way sellers and we get a rotation down, I'd be targeting a move down to close the technical gap on the 4-hour and test the range high from yesterday. On the 30-minute, you can see that we had a wonderful trend going all day yesterday and into the Globex. And then, of course, we created a technical gap here, and, came down, closed it out, and we've been going sideways. Had a little bit of a start of a downward trend, but we've now popped up and tested the 20 SMA on the 30-minute and trading in between that and the 9 EMA. So I'd be watching this 2011 if we can get above that 2011. And you know how I've been watching that number, then I'd be looking for continuation and a move to take out that 2014.50. Remember, 2014.50 is now our new all-time high, which was put in the Globex. The RTH traders don't like that. They like to come in and have the all-time high put in by them. So 2014.50 is certainly going to be my main target above today. Going to the 5-minute. You've got a start of an upward trend. You've got a naked cross here at 2009.50. I'd put that as your first target below. If we get two-sided traders, I'd be looking for a move. If we come down and close this, get a bit of a technical gap here. It's not great because we're paralleling the 9 pretty nicely. But if we get below the 9 EMA, I'd be looking for a target down here at 2009.50 with the with a little bit of weakness coming in. But again, you've got to pay attention to how we open today, because if we get an open drive, you don't want to try to sell it. In fact, I wouldn't really even try to sell this market until we get below the 9 EMA. It would be the only safe short that I would recommend. And again, there are some more aggressive plays, but here I'm always going to give you the safest of the trades. All right, so let's just take a look at what's happened here. I mean, it's not going to be, it's pretty obvious where we are in terms of the big picture, but let's take a look at it so we know what we're dealing with. So you've got the upper distribution that we were talking about with the value area high at 1995. I've been saying all along since the rollover, if we got above that 95, we'd like to get into price discovery and go and take out that 2011. We're currently above the range high of that level at 2002 and trading, right now, in all-time new high areas for the RTH session. So that 2005.50, is the target in terms of a rotation down to close the gap and test and fill in the profile that is unoptioned territory right now in the RTH session. But watch for that gap fill. Below 2005.50, I'd be looking for a rotation back down into that 2001.75 area. And then, of course, the 2000 has now become an LVN. And below the LVN, then I'd be looking for a move to test that 1995 area. And now we've got another double distribution area. We've got the one down here that we were watching. Now we've got a double distribution here between 92 and 87.50. That's pretty clear. So once we get back inside of the 1995, I'm looking for a bigger rotation down, close a couple of the gaps down here, and auction this territory and determine fair value between 92 and 87.75. So let's take a look at the overnight. Come on. All right, so our overnight high is 2014.50, our all-time new high. We're sitting right on top of this 2011, so I'm going to take it out as a target now because we've been all over it. Our value area high from the Globex is down here at 2002, and our current VPOC is right where we're trading right now, is in that 2011.50. The overnight VPOC is 2011.50. And then our low is 2004.75, which is basically just below the range and just above the value. So there's really no guidance we have right here. So again, it's going to be very difficult to find a trade. I'm going to put that 2010 as a trade area because I think if we get below that and we see two-sided action, I think if you want to take the aggressive trade, you could short the 2010 in towards that naked cross at 2009.50. But it's a risky trade, and you might get the move all the way down to 2005.50. But so if you do it, just take your risks and stick to it, and don't let it go against you. And I wouldn't put a lot of risk on the table. If we rally from here and you see an open drive, I get long into that 2014.50. We've still got the measured move up at 2017.25 and 2023, and now I'm putting a new measured move up there at the 2032.50. And that's about all I can guide you with the move that we had. Good friend of mine was pointing out last night on Twitter that I didn't even realize that 2011 was the 127 extension from the last swing low. So that was kind of interesting. And he mentioned that on Twitter. Lord V is his Twitter name. You can follow him. He's a good guy. Anyway, if we can't hold this, you can try to take the short. The first target, of course, in the trade area that I'd be looking at below us is how they handle the 2005.50 and take out the overnight low. Remember, we've got a 96% probability of taking out the overnight high or overnight low. I would say how we handle this 2010 is going to give you the most information in terms of that particular statistical trade. I'm going to put the target down here. You know what? I'm not even going to bother putting it there. 2009.50. In fact, you know what I would do? I would wait until we broke 2009.50 to get short, because then you're violating the trend, closing out that naked cross, and I'd be looking for, that would probably be the safer trade than try to do it off of 2010. And then you've got your target below. Inside of range, obviously your first target is going to be the 2005.75, 2004.75, I mean, the overnight low, and just below that you're going to have the gap closes right there as well, with the naked close from yesterday, and then you've got the value area high just down below it at 2004.25. So I'm going to put 2004.25 as my next area. And then anything below that, I'd be looking for the first target of the LVN down here at 2003, and below that, I move down to close the gap into that 2001. Remember that 2001.75 is our current CHVN. That's because it was yesterday's VPOC. Not much hard. It's not hard to determine that when we've only traded in this area, in the RTH session for one day. So look for the move back down to balance and back down towards the naked VPOC. And then once inside, you've got to be watching for the destination 80% value area trade down to the value area low down here at 2075, and I'd be really watching, this 2000 area. So I'm going to put it right there. So the beginning of it is 2075. They get down this area, they're likely to come down and test the CLVN at 2000. Then below 2000, your first destination is going to be the range low. I'm going to use 98.25. Just because that's the number I've been using to trade off of, but I'd be looking for a possible extension down to 1998.25, and then the range low below it at 1997.25. Everything below that, I'm targeting the 94.75 value area high. And the 93.75, and really there's not much below that. You've got the 92 as a target, and I wouldn't really try to take a long off of these I'd be looking for continuation, because I think if we get down here, we're going to see weakness, and we're going to see a play of ping pong between this 87. I would use the 88.75. As a trade area, and below that target 87.50. With the lower side of balance going to be down here, down at this 86, 85.75. And then below that, I think you got to target the CLVN here at 83.50, and that's going to be, between that 83.50 and that 80.25. We've got a low acceptance. It's price rejection in this area. The key line is going to be the 80.25, but I'd be watching the 83.25 first. Sorry, I didn't mean that to be a target. And the key line that I think we've got to hold is that 1980. Below 80.25, I think we move down to that 77 again. 80.25, and the target below 77.25. With the other side of balance. And what I think is going to be very, very important to us is between that 72.75 and that 71.75, but I'm going to use 71.75. Let's change this to target from target and trade area. Shift it up here. And then below that, we've got the 67.25 from the September contract, but everything shifts down towards this 63 and 59 stable distribution, with 59.25 being the real magnet. That is the long-term microcomposite VPOC. So that's what I'm looking at. I don't think we're going to get down that low today, but just always got to prepare for every possibility. So let's take a quick look at how we do for time. We're good for time. Let's take a quick look at the Russell. So Russell looks a little bit convoluted right now in terms of the profiles, because I'm overlapping some values. There's a lot of overlap in volume. But the key level for me today on the Russell is going to be this 1158.20. There's an LVN from overnight at 1158.20, and then we've got the microcomposite value area low from the microcomposite that runs from 825 to 98, and that value area low is right there at 83. I'm sorry, at 58. 58.30, I believe, is the actual. If we get below that, then you're going to come back into balance from the 6 days of balance that we just fell out of, down at 57.80. So I like the short below the 58.30 into 57.80, but looking for continuation to come down and close the gap from yesterday at 1154.30. Again, same thing in terms of what we had we have on the ES is what we've got on the Russell as well, because on the Russell, we're going to be opening outside of range and outside of value. So let's go take a look at the overnight on the Russell. Our overnight high is up at 1161.50. And our overnight low is all the way down at 1154.40. Which is essentially going to be your gap close. Your close from yesterday is 1154.30. The current VPOC is at 1159.10. And then you have that LVN that I'm watching at 1152.20. It's the LVN that's just below the value area low from the Globex session. So that's why I'm using the LVN rather than the Globex. I don't usually trade the value areas of the Globex. I trade the LVNs. So you got that 5820. And I like that because it sits right on top of that microcomposite value area low. Below that, I think you see some weakness coming in, and they go for the gap close. Now the first target below us on that is going to be this 5640 CLVN. So that is going to be our first target. Below that, it's going to be a target and a trade area. And then below that, I'm not even really going to look at the range high at 5570. Below that 5610, I think they go for the gap close and they take out the overnight low, especially if they don't take out that overnight high. I'm going to change this, and I'm going to put a trade level here on top of the LVN because I want you guys to realize that that's a trade level. And if we don't break below that and we come down here and they find buyers here, I'd be looking for them to rotate back up into that 1161.50 overnight high. You can see that is the CLVN on the other side of balance around that 1164 CHVN. So I would target that 1160.40 above. If we do get a shot of taking the long off of 58.20, the first target is going to be 60.40. But I'd be looking for continuation to take out the overnight high and test that CLVN. If we break above that, the next target above is going to be the 63.30. And at this point in time, I wouldn't really try to fade it. I'd be looking for a continuation up into 66 into 66, and you've got the naked V pocket 67.10 and the naked close at 67. I'm really not looking for much resistance until we get up into this 1169.90 microcomposite value area high. And then above that, nothing above us until we get to that 72, and there's that 72 yet again. And that's going to be the next area. And anything above 72, then you've got target at 73.40. And then you've got the 75.20. And once we're above that, I'm not even targeting anything until we get up into that 79, that swing high at 79. And then once we're above the range, the swing high at 79, above the range of the microcomposite, everything shifts up to 82. You've got a little bit of resistance at 80, but I think 79's the level that they've chosen. And you've got the 82.90, 85, 25, $85.20, I think it is. Got to fix my scales there. And then the big number is 1190. 1190. And then 1198.50 and 1198.80. So that's what I'm looking at in terms of the upside on the Russell. Inside of that, below that 56, look for the I wouldn't pay attention to the range. I'd be targeting, the first one I would target would be 55, but I really think we'll put 55 in because it's the HVN and the upper distribution, but really target the overnight low and the value area. The value area will be the area below. You might get some support, but anything below that, look for a move down to take the naked VPOC. We've got a very nice profile file here from yesterday, nice pregnant belly. And then the first area that I'd look for them to step in below that 53 is going to be the 51.80. And then below that, you've got the value area low for a destination trade, and below that, it's going to be, a move down towards that 49, 48 area. I'm going to use 49.60 as another trade area, because I think if we get below the IB low from yesterday, we won't really pay much attention to the range low. I think they go for the gap close at 48 and test that CLVN and the microcomposite 3-day value. You got all kinds of stuff at this 48. You've got the former VPOC, you've got CLVN, you've got the gap close, and the value area high from the 3-day profile, and then so this whole area in around 48 becomes one great big huge target. So I'm just going to put it down here at 48, and then the next support is going to be this 46 level. And below that, there's really nothing until you get down to the 42 and 40 level. And the 40 CLVN is really going to be the line in the sand, 40.60, because anything below that, I think we're going to see that 34 again. So I'll put the target, the extended target down here at 34.20. And there you have the Russell. Let's go take a quick look at the gold. All right, gold. Where'd all my profiles go on gold? 1 second. Let me get these back on. And a little profile down here. See where they're finding value right now. So right now, in the last 2 days, they went down and they tested that 12.18 and a quarter. Poked their nose below it at 12.16.30, came back up, and they're accepting value right now in between that 23 and 24 level. Again, if we get a move up in the indices, I think that you'll see them come down and test this 18. And if we do get the rally up into the 2020s, 2030s, I think you're going to see a move, a much bigger move in gold down at this 1208. Currently, right now, I've moved my stop down. My stop is at 1238.20. As of now, I was going to put it, I had it yesterday above the 1240, but again, I'm just trying to work my way down on that and lock in some profit. In terms of the upside today, if we do get some weakness, I think the upside is going to be in around that 1229. I'm not expecting much more than that, but if they do break above the 2-day, microcomposite, the first target above is going to be this 1232, if not up into the 1235, 1236 area, maybe even 1237. But that would be a pretty big move in gold. And I think that with what's going on in the indices and what I'm anticipating today, with a bit of a rally, that we're going to see a little bit further weakness in gold. Probably come down and test. And if they can't hold 1218 again this time around, then I'd be looking for a move down to test, the larger area of price rejection down here at 1210, if not popping all the way down to what is our main target below us right now at 1206.40. So that's what I'm looking at. Take a quick look and see where we are and how the levels on the ES line up with the Renko with Keltner. Right now, we're sitting right on top of the Keltner center line at 2011. If we can hold above that, you can see that the target above is, let me get my, bring up my ES. You can see that the target to hit that upper Keltner channel is right there at my measured move at 2017 and a quarter. If we get below the center line, a move down to test the lower line is going to take us down into that 2005 area and close the gap, take up the overnight high. So it looks good on the Renko as well. So that's going to complete this morning's pre-market session. As always, trade well, trade safe. We'll catch you on the flip side.